What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and we got Pablo back on the show. Good to have you, Pablo.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Alex. How are you?
Pretty good. We're going to recap. This is the Draft Grades episode, a recap the 2023 NFL Draft. It was a lot of fun, a lot of unexpected moves and craziness, especially in the first round. Um, First of all, what are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson finally got his deal? You got to be so excited as a Ravens fan.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best off-season Ravens fans have had, for a while. Obviously, it has taken 2 years, but we finally have a deal done. Obviously, it's not 250 million fully guaranteed or 260 fully guaranteed, but obviously, you take the money 185 guaranteed. It's not a bad deal. It's not the 200 million that I personally wanted for him, but. It's so nice to have him for the next 5 years and to know that basically he'll be the guy and the center for us, man. So, Ravens fans are pumped. Obviously, we had a hell of a draft. We only had like 5 picks. We came away with 6 players. I think 6 really good players, and obviously we extended basically one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So, Ravens fans basically were gassed, man.
Yeah, I was happy too. Some people were nitpicking it, being like, "Oh, he didn't get fully guaranteed," and blah blah blah. But it's like, bro, he represented himself, got highest paid
Hmm.
quarterback money. It's not
Hmm.
fully guaranteed, but still, that's a great accomplishment being your own agent.
Hmm.
And what do you think
Yeah,
about those
it's
those people that were saying like you can't pay Roquan and Lamar?
Yeah. I think Eric DeCosta said something along the lines of it was one of the most challenging negotiations he's ever had. Obviously, he said something along the lines of it basically would not want such a situation ever happening again, where because he thinks of Lamar Jackson as family. So obviously I think it got personal at some point. And I think to people who thought maybe the Ravens could not figure it out, it's just like basically the Ravens sticking it in their faces, man, because this is the most lucrative contract ever negotiated in the NFL without representation. So
Yep.
it's a massive achievement for Lamar. Obviously, everything he does, it's just like basically record breaking, and it's massive, man. And obviously to think of the offense that we have now, obviously going forward, with OBJ coming in, with Zay Flowers coming in, with our starting running backs both healthy, it's so exciting to be a Ravens fan right now. And obviously the moves that we made the past couple of maybe weeks, they have us maybe like Lombardi dreaming, man. We're dreaming of that Super Bowl trophy in February, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, talk about a switch, right? It went from all we're gonna do is add Nelson Aguilar, like that's the plan this offseason, to now. So,
Yeah.
and I love the combination of you add Roquan and it became a top five defense. Adding Roquan
Mhm.
Smith, and now my thought was now you're gonna have a top five defense but no quarterback, right? And now you get the
Yeah.
Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson deal done. Now you got OBJ's, Zay Flowers, all these pieces. Now
Mhm.
you can bring it all together. Ravens fans have to be excited because I think this is the best chance they have at going on a Super Bowl run, going on a deep playoff run.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, our defense was top five in the league after Roquan Smith joined us in October. And obviously, we have an offense that basically on paper should be a top five offense in this league. And always, whenever you have a top five offense and a top five defense, your chances of getting to the Super Bowl increase massively. And the thing we have to watch out for is what the Ravens do with Patrick Quinn, because obviously, Roquan Smith and him, that linebacker tandem is great, but the Ravens also drafted a great linebacker in the third round, Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. So
Yeah,
he is a quarterback, he is a linebacker that plays like those guys. And obviously, we have three linebackers that can actually start. So it will be curious to see what happens with Patrick Quinn, because we have seen rumors of a trade, of a possible trade, and obviously the Ravens love their picks, man. And if there's value in a trade, the team might explore that option.
Yeah, and I love what the Ravens did in the draft. We'll go ahead and start covering that. Zay Flowers and Trenton Simpson. Zay Flowers a really good fit. I think he's going to do really well there. He reminds me, he's like Hollywood Brown. He's your Hollywood Brown
Mm-hmm.
replacement, right?
Yeah, yeah. In my opinion, is Hollywood Brown but better because he's multidimensional. Hollywood Brown was more like he was obviously he is not to knock Hollywood. He is a great receiver. Obviously, I've seen players from South Florida do really well. Zay Flowers is a receiver from down there as well, but Hollywood really well. The long routes he did really well. Obviously, basically his main strength was going deep. Zay Flowers can do everything, man. He can line up in the slot. He can line up out wide. He basically can catch short passes, intermediate passes. He said that basically on the podium basically after his name was called. He is an electric receiver running at like a 4.43 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't think there was any chance that we were going to land any of Zay Flowers or Jackson Smith and Jigba in this draft. Obviously, JSN went up to Seattle, but Zay Flowers, never in a million years did I basically even give a thought that we are going to get him. And it's just exciting to think of what this wide receiver group can do, man. We've been clamoring for wide receivers for the better part of the last 5 years, man. And right now we have three really good ones. Hopefully they stay healthy, man, because the Ravens
Yeah.
have um, that curse of like basically not staying healthy throughout the entire year. So hopefully they stay healthy and they ball out, man. Can't wait for September.
Yeah, I was a huge Hollywood Brown fan, so to think Zay Flowers is even in that same conversation is great, and
Yeah,
and the fact that you
yeah.
can replace them and add it to a pretty good receiving core now, with all the pieces
Mm-hmm.
there. And then Trenton Simpson is great value. In the third round,
Mm-hmm.
pick 86 out of Clemson. He was
Mm-hmm.
going late first in some mocks and early
Mm-hmm.
second. And for him to
Yeah.
fall to a third round, great value pick there. So I like what the
Yeah.
Ravens did.
Yeah, and,
So
and and to think of he our linebacker coach Zach Orr, he was an undrafted rookie free agent, obviously coming into the league. He obviously played for the Baltimore Ravens, but the Ravens like to keep their great players or like their players, people they really like within the organization, especially after they stop playing ball. He was forced to retire early. He is our linebacker coach. He said that Trenton Simpson was his best linebacker in the draft, ahead of
yeah,
obviously Jack Campbell, who the Lions took 18th overall. And to think of we have him, I think it's just a testament to basically the scouting and the coaching staff that the Ravens have, man. Just like look out for defensive talent. I really hope that Trenton Simpson basically goes on to be one of the best players we've ever seen.
I think so. I would rather have Trenton Simpson than Jack Campbell. That's just me. But we'll talk about the Lions draft here in a little bit. So Ravens, I gave him a
Yeah.
B plus. Uh, Zay
Hmm.
Flowers, Trenton Simpson, I could go A minus. I mean, I'm a solid draft, uh, especially those first two picks. Let's stick in that division. The Steelers trade
Hmm.
up and take Broderick Jones out of Georgia, a great tackle pick there,
Hmm.
and then they get Joey Porter Jr. with the first pick in the second
Hmm.
round. Um, I love Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter was my corner number one. So for him to go 32nd
Jeez.
is great value. He plays the corner position like his dad did in Pittsburgh. Linebacker Joey Porter Sr. was a dog. He was nasty,
Hmm.
hard hitting, and that's what Joey Porter brings. A lot like Devin Witherspoon, physical, hard hitting corner. Um, I love the Joey Porter pick. So the Steelers got better too. Um, and then third round
Yeah, I
pick
did like.
by Washington as well out of Georgia.
Yeah, yeah.
What were
Yeah,
you gonna say?
most mocks had Joey Potter Jr. Yeah, most mocks had Joey Potter Jr. and Daniel Washington going to the Steelers anyway. And the
Yeah,
thinking was obviously Joey Potter Jr. would go obviously 17th overall in the first round, and Daniel Washington would go in the second round. It's
yeah.
just crazy how the table basically fell to them, how the board fell to them. I think in terms of the AFC North, I think the AFC North has really good general managers. I think the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals. I think they do really
They
good
know how to
work. And
draft.
obviously the
Yeah,
draft was Yeah, the
Yep.
draft was a testament, man. All AFC North teams, they killed it. I'm not sure about the Browns because basically they need a few years to prove that they can do this consistently. But the other three teams, they killed it.
I love Darnell Washington in the third round. He reminds me of Julius Thomas, if you remember him from the
Mm-hmm.
Broncos.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then Nick Herbig in the fourth round. Excellent value pick out of
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin. So Steelers
Mm-hmm.
get an A
Mm-hmm.
minus for me in the draft. They did really well. I expect that
Yeah.
Steelers Ravens rivalry to stay strong the next couple of years, because
Mm-hmm.
both teams are going to be really good. Um, Bengals go Miles Murphy out of Clemson, a defensive end. They go DJ Turner, a corner out of Michigan. Um, Chase Brown in the fifth round. Illinois star running back Chase Brown is a good pick. So I mean the Bengals are gonna continue to be good. They get a B plus from me as well. Brown Cedric
Mm-hmm.
Tillman out of Tennessee, a third round pick. Keep an eye on Cedric Tillman. Great value pick in the third
Mm-hmm.
round. He was like a high second in most people's mocks.
Yeah.
Great value pick there for Cleveland.
Yeah. I think in terms of the Browns, obviously not having a first round and a second rounder this year, obviously that obviously
Yeah.
limited what they could do in terms of draft. But they have a really good quarterback going forward. They have to be excited with what's going on with Deshaun Watson.
Oh
Just looking at the team, I think they will be really good. Obviously they utilized a lot of basically during the trade and a lot of free agency, and I think they'll be sorted, man. Regardless of whether these rookies actually play really well in their first year, I think the Browns will have a chance to actually basically give the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers a run for their money. I think they're,
yeah.
they're,
Yeah.
they're doing really well. And whenever they get those first round and second round picks back, they're definitely going to get some talent in for sure.
Who's gonna finish last in this division? Who's the bad team
Yeah, the
here? I don't
Browns.
see it. The Browns, man.
Yeah, the Browns. The
I don't
Browns. The
know.
Browns. I'm
Deshaun
telling you.
Watson with a full season, those Browns are going to be dangerous. I,
Yeah, Amari. Yeah, you're forgetting they have Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples Jones.
yep.
Yeah, but
Nick
I think
Chubb.
I think in terms of just like the weaker team, they should be the weaker team. Although they have they had a good roster last year. Obviously they just did click on offense, and that's basically what they will improve on this year. And but I'm just thinking in terms of teams, I think the AFC North will be hella competitive this year.
Yeah.
I'm saying they might be last, but they might be last finishing on like 8 and 9. It's not
Yeah.
going to be like 5 and 13 or something, or 5 and 12 or something like that.
Yeah. It's going to be an absolute fight in that division. I can't wait to see how it
Yeah.
unfolds. And I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to seeing how the Browns perform with a full season to get ready, a full season of Deshaun Watson, and see
Mm-hmm.
how well they can do because potentially that's a 10 plus win team, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that division is going to eat its own. Let's go AFC South, who dominated the draft. All right. CJ Stroud,
Mm-hmm.
number 2 overall. And then they trade back up and take Will Anderson Jr., their best defensive prospect. What did you think of the Texans going CJ Stroud at 2? Were you surprised by CJ Stroud at 2?
And no, no, I knew they were going to take him. There was no chance they weren't going to take him. They don't have
If
a
they were
QB.
smart, yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
yeah. It would have been dumb to not take a quarterback, obviously, and to think of the fact that obviously they're an organization that at the moment they don't have a lot, basically to look forward to, and they have like 2 3 years to basically build around a quarterback, especially on a rookie contract. So they needed to take that, and who's going to tell if they're going to have a second round pick or a first round pick next year?
yeah,
I think in terms of quality, they have that, but especially from last year, in terms of like in particular places, obviously they have um, Stingley Jr., who was the third round pick last year. They have talent, basically young talent in specific places, but they still have to build around this roster. And obviously, CJ Stroud was basically the key part on offense. I had him in my mock, obviously going to the Texans as second overall. Will Anderson Jr., that was a surprise, man. I
yeah,
didn't think they would trade up from. obviously they traded up basically from 12th, but I didn't. I 100% thought Will Anderson Jr. would go 5th overall to the Seahawks. I had him obviously going to Seattle in my mock because I thought
Well,
the surprise for me was the fact that they thought so highly of him, because obviously trading up to go get him, you're thinking he is your JJ Watt, like the guy that's going to be the cornerstone of your defense, or like a Miles Garrett, the guy that's going to be the cornerstone of your defense for the next few years. And it's just basically a testament to what D'Amico Ryans thinks of him, man, because he's a
yeah.
really good player, but I didn't think they'd go up to get him. That was a surprise.
Yeah, credit to Nick Caserio for pulling this off, and D'Amico
Mm-hmm.
Ryans is getting his guys, his dogs as a rookie. They're gonna be ready to
Mm-hmm.
go. I There was a lot of talk about potentially Will Anderson Jr. going too. Like the Texans,
Mm-hmm.
I had a gut feeling that D'Amico Ryans and the Texans really liked Will Anderson Jr., so I thought there was a chance he could go too. And then they try to get a
Mm-hmm.
quarterback at 12, whether that be Anthony Richardson or Will Levis or whoever's available.
Mm-hmm.
But I love
Okay.
this plan so much more. They had to give up a lot to trade up, but I love the picks.
Mm-hmm.
Two absolute cornerstone players for both sides of the ball now, and you can build around those guys. I also like wide receiver Tank Dell out of Houston. So he stays with the local
Mm-hmm.
kid, and he's got good
Mm-hmm.
upside for a third round pick. So I like what the Texans did there. Um, let's go to the Colts. So we know a Colts fan, Dustin, and he does not like this pick. He wanted Will Levis, 4th overall to the Colts, not Anthony Richardson. I love the Anthony Richardson pick. Can you imagine that backfield of Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson? Good luck trying to defend that. And then you add Josh Downs in the 3rd round out of North Carolina. Were you surprised by this pick? To me, this made the most sense. Anthony Richardson's got such a high potential.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought they'd go with Levis. I was for me it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Obviously, Will Levis's draft stock wasn't that high, especially after the combine. Obviously, Anthony Richardson basically had one of the best combine performances, and like basically the best measurables we've ever seen at the position.
Yeah,
So I like 2 or 3 days leading up to the draft, we had a lot of Will Levis talk. Obviously, that Reddit post basically messed everything up, man, and like it's so insane how much basically NFL rumors can mess up an entire system. But
yeah,
I thought they'd go Will Levis. Obviously, Antonio Richardson, that was a surprise. But I get the pick. I really do, because it's some of, obviously the combine was in Indianapolis. They saw him firsthand, and they
yeah.
saw what he can do with
Good
that deep
point.
ball. They need to get in receivers that can go long and that can obviously run deep routes. And I think in terms of upside, he has the most upside, man. His
Yep,
ceiling is so high, you cannot basically pass on a chance to basically develop him, because if he gets anywhere close to the level of maybe Lamar Jackson, or a Jalen Hurts, these mobile QBs that we're seeing in the league right now, you have a really good QB if he gets anywhere close to those guys' level. And in terms of Will Levis, I think it's more of a personality issue, man. Because like if I
yes.
saw him sitting in that green room, he was obviously you feel so bad for a player whenever he drops. Like
Yep,
you feel so bad for him, but like it just looks like he was not comfortable in his own skin, which is, it's embarrassing, man, to not get drafted when
yeah,
you think you're going to get drafted. But like it seemed like a personality issue, but obviously is now obviously still in the AFC South, so he'll
yeah,
he'll face the Colts twice a year if he wins the starting position. So we'll see.
yeah. So you brought up a couple good points. So there was some rumors about the Colts potentially trying to trade for Lamar Jackson, and
Hmm.
and that had a lot of people excited. And then you talk about Shane Steichen, their new head coach in Indy, who got the
Hmm.
most and developed Jalen Hurts. And so that's why I think the Anthony Richardson pick makes a lot of sense. Plus the combination of
Okay.
him and Jonathan Taylor in that backfield. Um,
Hmm.
and even not taking Will Levis, I didn't think he was going to fall as far as he did. He goes to the
Yeah.
Titans, pick 33 in the second round. After they take Peter Skoronski, a good pick there. What did you think of
Mm-hmm.
Will Levis falling as far as he did? I thought he was going to fall a little bit, but like to the teens, like maybe outside the top 10, not pick 33.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. You're thinking somebody like obviously the Packers won't take a chance on him. Obviously, they Brian Gutekunst is in the hot seat right now. He basically has to give Jordan Love a chance. So you're thinking the Packers don't take him, but you're moving down. The Commanders are still there. They're sitting at like 17th overall. You're thinking that's there's a chance there, and you're like you go down and like you still have teams in the early 20s that could in the 20s that could. So you're thinking maybe there's a chance, but whenever like the moment we go to like the Jaguars and like the Giants, whenever I knew there was no chance he was obviously getting taken unless like something happened, man. Because like you're thinking teams that don't have picks like the Browns, the Dolphins, teams like the San Francisco 49ers, you knew they were sorted at QB, so you knew they weren't going to get to like move into the first round to get Will Levis, so you knew basically it was done. But basically, I agree with you. The teens and the 20s, the early 20s, that was basically his best chance, and that didn't happen, man. I think in terms for him, I think it's a personality issue, man. I think teams, whenever I think the visits. I think the fact that maybe he puts mustard in his tea or like he eats bananas with pills. I think that's maybe why
that,
teams fast on him. I
that
don't know,
turn teams
but
off. They're like,
for
we
me,
can't have
just like yeah, like that's too weird, man. It's going to bring like weird energy into the locker room. So
this.
I think it's a personality issue, man. For me, just looking at him like an outside guy looking in.
Yeah. Real quick, something I wanted to ask about the Colts. I love Anthony Richardson, but he's kind of raw, right? He ideally needs to
Mm-hmm,
sit and develop.
mm-hmm,
Gardner Minshew
mm-hmm,
is the veteran brought in. In my opinion,
mm-hmm,
Minshew's not good enough to keep Richardson on the
mm-hmm,
sideline. Minshew's going to struggle.
mm-hmm,
You know, he's okay, but he's not going to win a lot of games. You're going to start like 1-3, 1-4, and then you're kind of going to be
mm-hmm,
forced to put Anthony Richardson in due to performance, I think. Do you think that's something
mm-hmm.
worrisome about Indy, that maybe they need a better veteran that can keep Richardson on the bench for longer instead
Yeah,
of
yeah,
paying?
I 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I agree. I think he's not. Yeah, I think he shouldn't start week one. No one expects him to start week one unless he has an amazing training camp
yeah,
where like basically he just blows everyone away and like 100% he wins the starting job on week one. But I expect him to sit. Obviously, considering the depth that they have at quarterback, obviously, like you mentioned, Gardner Minshew, and they have this third year QB who's Ellinger. It's Sam Ellinger
yeah,
who basically did not basically convince anyone last year when he got given the job by I think Jeff Saturday gave him the job. So you're thinking they have three quarterbacks who are not good enough to start week one. So my
yeah,
thinking is Gardner Minshew starts like 4 or 5 weeks, and Anthony Richardson steps in like week 6 or like week
yep,
7, or they try to get someone in, or someone like maybe um Cam Newton, who basically wants to get back into playing.
yeah.
There's a chance
That's a
there.
great one.
Obviously, they will explore all options.
They
But
remind me of
in
each
terms of
other. Anthony Richardson and
yeah,
Cam Newton,
yeah.
that'd be a great guy for him to learn from.
Yeah, and obviously Anthony Richardson said in most of his pre-draft interviews he looked up to him and Lamar Jackson, obviously growing up and playing in high school and obviously transitioning to college. I think in terms of a QB, they need to try to see if they can get a vet in, because they 100% need to get a vet in who can start week one or like play a consecutive weeks before Anthony Richardson can actually play. So in terms of improving there, they need to.
Yeah, 100%. Um, let's go to the AFC East, where the Bills, yeah, they've already got Dawson Knox, one of the best tight ends in football. Now you throw in Dalton Kincaid. How about that two tight end attack for Buffalo for Josh Allen?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The thing you have to think of is they need pass catchers, man, because like obviously Gabriel Davis stepped up a few years back, 2 years, yeah, 2 years ago he stepped up, but last year we didn't see a lot of Gabriel Davis stepping up. Obviously that's why they had to bring in Cole Beasley to try and help. They didn't have a receiver in the slot. Obviously, McKenzie is not on the team anymore. So and obviously with the best receivers basically getting off the board by the 23rd pick, you're thinking we're not going to get a lot of chances here to bring someone in at receiver. Obviously, they have Shakir, who they brought in last year. They drafted
I
last
like
year.
him.
Is
I
going
like
going to be
him. Yeah.
yeah. It's going to be his second year in the league. Is obviously we're expecting him to improve, and Dalton Kincaid, who basically he is not your typical wide receiver that your typical tight end that needs like 2 or 3 years to develop. He is
Yeah.
he is ready made. He can basically play right away. And obviously, I've seen comparisons to Travis Kelsey. He is that type of tight end that can basically run really good routes. So there's value there. Obviously, Michael Meyer was the guy that most people thought would be the first tight end off the board, but that didn't happen. It seems like the Bills really like Kincaid,
Yeah.
and shout out to them, man. They need weapons for Josh Allen. They need weapons for him.
Yeah. I think that's an excellent pick. It fits what they're trying to do a lot, very well. So
Hmm.
excellent job by the Bills. Patriots go defense. So are you? They go Christian Gonzalez in the first round, Keon White in the second round. Two excellent prospects. I like both of them. Sixth round pick, Keishawn Butte out of LSU. I like him, but do you worry when you look at the Patriots? They don't seem to emphasize offense, or they don't seem to put enough. They had Matt Patricia of all people calling plays last year. Um,
Yeah,
Mac Jones, they're shopping Mac Jones this offseason. Is Bailey
yeah.
Zappi the answer? What's New England doing on the offensive side of the ball? I love what they're doing defensively. But in that division with Tua, with Josh Allen, with Aaron Rodgers and Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson, what are the
Mhm.
Patriots doing offensively that's going to keep them competitive? I don't see enough. Do you?
Yeah, they all they're doing is obviously they have Juju Smith-Schuster. That's basically what all you're seeing from them.
He's good for
I
TikTok.
I 100%. Yeah. I think obviously I thought at 17th overall, I thought they would go with a wide receiver. Obviously, all
Yeah.
wide receivers were on the board at 17th overall. Obviously, the links to DeAndre Hopkins. That's basically the one move that they can pull to basically
Mm-hmm.
give Patriots fans some hope for this offense. Obviously, we saw Bill Belichick last week try. Obviously, he stood up for Mark Jones, obviously saying that he's the guy, obviously for the team going forward. And I think in terms of just offense, they need to do something, man. Obviously, they didn't get someone on offense until the fourth round, and they brought in a center. So you're thinking
Yeah.
they don't value. Yeah, they don't value skill positions that much unless they think they're good going into the season without skill positions. But there is a chance that they could try and basically get basically the rock to their running backs and like just try to run the ball and like get those short and intermediate passes going and just like try to win basically from the backfield, man, because this division is a tough one, man. And whenever
Yeah.
you're not good on offense, man, like there's more likelihood that you're not going to make it into the playoffs. And the AFC is a different beast now. Offense wins games. It's not defense anymore, like back in the early 2000s. So they need to do something in like free agency and like undrafted free agents. They need to try to get some offensive weapons in and try to basically get a running game that's one of the best in the league, man. That's the only way I can see them actually having a chance this year.
Even defensively, the Bills are excellent defensively. The Jets excellent defensively when healthy.
Hmm.
And then you look
Hmm.
at the Dolphins. Add Jalen Ramsey to Xavier Howard, so you need offense to
Hmm.
compete. And so if you're, I don't know what the Patriots' are plan is at quarterback or what, but they need to figure it out soon,
Yeah,
because
and
they're
to
gonna
think. and I think they used two of their picks on special teams, man. They drafted a kicker, they drafted a punter, man. Like I'm not
Yeah,
sure what the Pats are doing, man. But we'll see.
I
We'll
don't
see
either.
what happens, man. When all teams take the field, man. Because like the draft, they didn't kill the draft. Although they had multiple picks, they could have added basically players that are really good. So we'll just have to wait and see what basically Bill Belichick has in store for us. Because at
Yeah,
the moment, it's not looking good.
the evil genius. Let's see if he's genius still or just going crazy. Uh, um, Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we all saw this coming. We knew it was coming. It was nice to see it get done before the draft. So then it
Mhm.
allows them to go defense in the draft with Will McDonald in the first round, which I think is a little bit of a reach. But if they value him, if he fits their scheme, then more power to him. I like the corner they took in the sixth round, Converse out of LSU. Uh, but
Mhm.
that division is going to be so tough. Now you got Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tua and Tyreek Hill in Miami. How are you feeling? Are the Jets with Aaron Rodgers tough division? Do you think the Jets can make the playoffs and potentially go on a deep playoff run with Aaron Rodgers now? Best quarterback they've had since Joe Namath.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The best quarterback they've had in a while. Maybe. Yeah, we can't count Brett Favre.
Yeah,
Brett
maybe Brett
Favre
Favre, but
because
yeah,
yeah. But Brett Favre was done by the time we got to New York. I think in terms of the team, I think at receiver they looked weaker, man. Obviously I think my issue with the Jets is they moved Braxton Berrios, who was one of their best wide receiver players, wide receivers, and one of their best players on special teams. And they also moved Elijah Moore, who was also one of the best young wide receivers that they had. Obviously, they still having Garrett Wilson. That's a plus. And I think in terms of just like that at that position at wide receiver especially, I think they got weaker. But in terms of everything else, I think they're good, man, going forward. Obviously, they expect
yeah,
Hall to come back healthy, man. We saw what he did basically when he was healthy last year. We expect him to have a bounce back here. They still have good running backs, man, like Michael Carter. They can still. This is an offense that can be really, really good, especially with someone that can throw the ball with the accuracy and with the exact precision like Aaron Rodgers can. In terms of playoffs, man, it's a tough division. It's
yeah,
really tough, man. The Bills are there, the Dolphins are there, and you're thinking of if there's a chance three teams come from the AFC East, basically to go and get into the playoffs. If the Jets are the third team, you're thinking they're facing someone like Kansas City or like someone like
yeah,
the Bengals or the Ravens. So you're thinking if the Ravens get to the playoffs, man, and basically, basically it's going to be tough for Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to be the NFC North where he basically gets 13 wins a year. At 40 years old, this is going to be his toughest test yet.
yeah. But he's got one of the best teams around him he's ever had too. The Packers didn't exactly
Mm-hmm.
always surround him with talent, especially on the defensive side of the
Mm-hmm.
ball. He's got a great defense. You got Brees Hall coming
Mm-hmm.
back, who should be their workhorse. I
Mm-hmm.
would feed Brees Hall a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
like you said. Um, so I think this is my bold prediction. This is the draft. So super early, super bold prediction. I got the Dolphins
Okay.
missing the playoffs. All right. So I got the
Jeez.
I got
Okay.
the Jets in. I don't trust the Dolphins, especially. I don't like to be that guy, but I don't trust right now. Can we
Yeah, you
trust
do.
Tua to stay healthy? And if not Tua, then what do you got backing him up? So,
Mike White.
um, um, Mike White,
Mike
yeah,
White.
I'm not a big Mike White guy either. I'm definitely not a Skylar Thompson guy. So I
Okay.
think the Jets are going to be a threat. The Jets need to go into week one thinking we have to beat the Bills. We have to win this division, get
Mm-hmm.
home field, get some nasty weather at MetLife, the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
make it seem like Lambeau as close as we can. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to come down to the
Yeah,
Jets'
I
balls, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're not a big Mike McDaniel fan, obviously,
Yeah,
especially after he had a great start to the year last year. I think it was 3-0, man, and
yeah,
obviously, you weren't convinced, man. I think Tua actually put on some muscle this off season. He's more fat more than ripped, so which is not always a good look. But he did add some weight, which we always want to see, a QB with a lot more muscle. I think in terms of the Dolphins, I agree. Obviously, the fact that they didn't have a first round pick this year, that wasn't, basically, yeah. You never want to be the guy that doesn't add talent in the draft, man. That doesn't add a lot of talent in the draft. Obviously, they added some talent, but I think in terms of a roster, man, they're still good, man.
yes, they are.
Obviously they added, yeah, they're still good, man. Like, and to think of that defense got better this off season. You think of they have Jalen Ramsey. You think Jalen Ramsey is not going to make the playoffs for the second year in a row? I don't think that's. I don't think that's. I don't think that's his style, man. Obviously, he only had like one bad season in Jacksonville and wanted out of there. Obviously, I think the Dolphins. I think for me, it's the Dolphins and the Bills, man. I think the Jets are still the team that's outside, that's kind of outside looking in. I think they're the team that wants basically to put their foot in the door, and Aaron Rodgers, basically, they're banking on him, man. All the eggs are in
Yes,
that one Aaron Rodgers basket, man. So the pressure is on the Jets, man. I don't think it's for sure, but there's a chance, man, because all three teams are looking really good. Obviously, New England will have to see what they do, man, because
yeah. I feel
as
like
of right now, the Jets,
yeah,
as
yeah,
of right now, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills, yeah, those are
yeah.
the three teams in the AFC East.
Yeah, it's interesting how far we've come with the Patriots. Now we got them dead last in that division as of right now. So it's going to be interesting. Jets and Dolphins, I mean, those games are going to be great too. And Tua against Aaron
Mhm.
Rodgers, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go AFC West real quick. Chiefs, I like Rasheed Rice, good second round pick out of
Mhm.
SMU. Um, Helps
Mhm.
with the receiving core. The receiving core isn't great, but when you got Patrick Mahomes, who can make chicken salad out of Marcus Valdez Scantling, and who they got. Let me pull that up because I don't even know.
They have,
Sky
yeah,
Moore,
they have Sky Moore. They have Kadarius Tony.
Kadarius Tony, but not guys that I'm gonna write home about. Rasheed Rice a nice
Yeah.
ad, but you take away Travis Kelsey, that's a bunch of average receivers, in my opinion. So Mahomes
Yeah.
is great, and if he can win with that, more power to him. The Raiders got better. They had Tyree Wilson and Michael Mayer.
Mhm.
Michael Mayer
Mhm.
fell. I mean, I'm shocked that Sam Laporta got taken over Michael Mayer. Uh, that blew my mind. Michael Mayer is a first round pick, and so for him to go second round is crazy. But the Raiders got better with Mayer and Tyree Wilson, sure.
Yeah, I think what people are underestimating is one thing out of Iowa. You always have to look at their offensive line. Their offensive linemen are some of the best offensive linemen to ever
Yep,
step in the league, and their Titans. Obviously, you
yep.
have George Kittle. You have T.J. Hawkinson. Their Titans are
TJ
some of the best in the league, and their
TJ
offensive linemen. So you're
Fedorowicz or
thinking of,
whatever back in the day. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
that wasn't a surprise for me. I think obviously Michael Meyer, he is the Titan that can block and can catch passes, but Sam Laporta has that extra gear to him. He has that upside to him. Obviously, blocking, every Titan that steps into the league has to improve on blocking, man. But Sam Laporta, I was gassed for I was gassed for him. I think for me he was either my number 2A Titan or like 2B Titan. So
Wow.
it could have gone either way. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I have Iowa. I rate them in terms of Titans and line and offensive line. I do.
Man, I was like in Darnell Washington, Michael Mayer. I was sleeping on
Yeah,
Sam Laporta, but you bring up some good
Yeah,
points.
Daniel Washington. Daniel Washington was my fourth tight end, man. The fact that he played on the Georgia Bulldogs, and the fact that they had a great running game was obvious. It's obviously I might rule my words because he's in the AFC North now, and he can basically beat my Ravens twice a year. But he was my fourth rated tight end in this draft.
He's Cincy now, right? Darnell?
He's in Pittsburgh. He's a
Oh
Steeler.
yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah, man. I
Yeah.
just see Julius Thomas. You get the ball in Darnell Washington's hands with a head of steam, and the defenders are going to
Mm-hmm.
start making business decisions. I saw it firsthand when Broncos Ravens was a season opener, and Julius Thomas is going in
Mm-hmm.
for a touchdown, and the Ravens safety just pulls up. He didn't want that smoke, and I was like
Yeah.
frustrated because this was the year after Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. Like, man, they used to
Yeah.
be so physical, so dominant, and now you don't want to tackle Julius Thomas. I get it. He's 6'5", 260. I don't want to tackle him
Yeah.
either. That's what Darnell Washington
Yeah.
is. These guys are going to make business decisions when it comes to tackling him.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, we like to ship our Titans with Kyle Hamilton, and
Yeah,
I'm not sure if Kyle Hamilton can take on Daniel Washington.
you're
So
like, I don't know about that.
we'll see, Yeah, we'll see.
I love Quentin Johnston was my wide receiver
Mm-hmm.
one. I'm a big fan of this guy. He goes to the Chargers to add to
Mm-hmm.
Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer. I think Quentin Johnston's better than Josh Palmer. Put him at wide receiver 3. Now you've got a true deep threat. I love that ad for the Chargers. I just wish they could add Quentin Johnston while getting rid of Brandon Staley, but I guess you can't do that. But I love what the Chargers are doing, surrounding Justin Herbert with absolute playmakers. You know what I mean? They're gonna be a threat in that division. They're trying to catch Kansas City, and they got 4 better receivers, in my opinion, than the Chiefs do.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of the wide receiver core, they do, but in terms of the QB, they don't. In terms of the tight end, they don't.
Man, is it
In terms
close
of the
though?
head coach, they don't. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
great point on the head coach. What about Herbert Mahomes? Is that close, or is Mahomes head and shoulders above?
It's it's not. I was debating with a Chargers fan for like 2 or 3 days on Twitter. Obviously he was saying that Herbert is the most prolific QB his first 3 years, which in terms of production numbers, like passing yards, obviously you get that, but in terms of like the best career in like the first 3 years, Patrick Mahomes' career, like Herbert's
No one can
career is
touch that.
nothing compared to what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give me,
100%.
give me
So
the Super
like,
Bowl MVP.
yeah, Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP, obviously like had basically led the league in touchdowns his first 3 years. He basically massive passing
Yeah.
yards. I think Herbert was like 200 or 300 more passing yards than him. So which is like, man, like people are crazy on social media, man. That's what I came to find out on Twitter.
They definitely are. Give Mahomes or give Herbert Travis Kelce, and he would probably do better. But like Mahomes with those weapons, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, I mean Austin Eckler. And if you're the Chargers, you need to bring back Austin Eckler. If not, you're making a mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah, they need to
He's
keep him
incredible.
happy.
Yeah. Broncos, they go Marvin Mims, Drew Sanders, some good picks there. Nothing great. No first round pick, but the Chargers, Sean Payton ripping bongs during the draft. That's nice to see. Russell Wilson with Sean Payton. That's going to be a hell of a combination for the Broncos. Should be better. Should be a threat next year. They need to make the playoffs in a very tough division.
Yeah, 100%. I think they'll be better. I think they'll be the second best team in this division next year. Obviously, after the Chiefs, I think the Chargers will be third, and I expect the Raiders.
But we'll leave it there. That's the AFC draft recap, draft grades, and we'll do the NFC here maybe later this week or next week. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a great week, guys, and peace out.